Let's go to something fun that I think you'll both have, have a lot to say about. So Kamala Harris was just anointed, coronated, what have you. And there were a lot of voices, not all from the Black community, but many from the Black community, who were not thrilled about her first event and how she tried to, some would say, pander. So let's take a quick look at one of the featured entertainment gigs there.
Yeah, we're gonna keep the volume off so that we don't get copyright claimed by YouTube. But this is what we're talking about.
This is Megan, man.
So this is Megan the Stallion, and a lot of people felt twerking is maybe not the best way to associate yourself with Black culture and the Black community. And I watch sometimes. I don't know if you watch him, Greg Foreman. He has the Black Conservative channel. He's a young Black conservative. And he showed some video of how they talk to Asian communities when they go to talk to Asians, how they talk to Latino communities when they talk to Latinos. And it's very respectful. And it's none of this. It's not this. And many people had argued after they saw this, isn't this an insult that you're saying that this is what the culture is? And in this context, this political context, this is what you would assume appeals to that community. What are your opinions about
that? Well, code switching. Why do we need that? It's unnecessary. First of all, I think the whole candidacy, the whole concept of Kamala Harris is an insult. To me, as a Black woman, I didn't want her, and I thought that she would have faded away after she dropped out of the primaries. But here she is, foisted upon us as someone who represents Black women, and I don't see anything I don't see any of me in her. I'm insulted. I'll say it again. I'm insulted.
And why are you insulted?
Well, I hate to. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to be careful here in saying that she's not. She's not. She doesn't. She didn't experience the actual African American experience of growing up here in the United States. She spent some time in Canada as well.
She went to high school there, yeah.
Went to high school in Canada. Her mother is Indian. Her father is Caribbean descent. So she wasn't. She didn't experience busing and the discrimination that someone like me would have experienced. She went and attended Howard University, I guess, to get in touch with her Black roots or whatever. But she also locked up. Her prosecutorial record is abysmal, and that's also an insult. And now here she is, a cop who could possibly be president. She doesn't relate to I don't relate to her anything she does at all or is at all.
Glenn, what are your thoughts?
Well, we're talking about a Black woman running for president, so I give a large default to my wife here in the conversation. But
having read your book, I am really impressed with how far you've come.
I mean,
that is a man who has learned his lessons.
There's nothing edifying about the booty shaking stuff that's going on. It's pop culture. It's cheap almost by definition. You might think that in running for the highest office in the land and appealing for the support of a community, you would aim a little bit higher. You might think that. On the other hand, if you're trying to get butts in the seats, if you're trying to engender a crowd and draw attention to yourself, you want to go with what's popular and whatnot. This is not going to be a Ben Shapiro critique of Megan Thee Stallion, you know, and Cardi B, and, you know, getting out there and twerking. I'm not going to be a prude here. I feel the same way if you brought a bunch of gangster rappers out and, you know, they were celebrating thug life, walking around with pistols in their hand and using the MF word and whatnot like that. I feel the same way about that. It's not about sex, but it is cheap.
Yeah, and I would say, I mean, I haven't judged any twerking contests in my day, but this seems like fairly innocuous as twerking goes. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm not the best judge of that, but yeah, I mean, it seems fairly PG.
Yeah, it's a little classier than some of the other stuff you've seen Megan do.
Yeah,
sure, but it's I just see it as entertainment.
Well, I hear they're doing WAP for the inauguration.
No. I want to say we're talking about Kamala Harris. So now the last time I checked, it was a lot of Democrats who were saying that she was not an especially compelling figure in politics, that she was not especially effective as a manager, as a leader, visionary. She couldn't put sentences together.
Right. Her staff kept quitting. Yeah.
There was open talk about replacing her on the ticket and whatnot. And now she's the standard bearer for half of the politics, at least half of the politics of America. And I'm fascinated by that. And part of what commends her to our attention, she's the first South Asian, she's the first Black. And let me just say that these identities are skin deep. They don't go very deep at all. They don't mean anything really. And so these are ad campaigns that we're observing here. These are marketing devices that are being foisted upon us as a substitute for developing real political leadership. What does she stand for? Has she read Marx? Or
well, presumably, because her father was a Marxist economist. Yeah.
They never mention the fact that Don Harris, I know Don Harris. I have sat in Don Harris's office when I was on the job market and I got interviewed out at Stanford in the 1970s. Don Harris was on the committee that vetted me. He's a real mathematical Marxist. I mean, he's what my friend John Romer, the Marxist economist, would call a no bullshit Marxist. I mean, he's not just word salad. He's got the equations and the analysis and the graphs and the data. He's a serious, at least he was in his heyday. I mean, he's up in years now, and I doubt if he's very active as an intellectual anymore, but he's a serious Marxist intellectual, and that never gets mentioned.
Please clap.